Well, I hope everybody had a happy 4th of July, even though the price of Bitcoin did an upside down fireworks show. The whole crypto market said, and it's not looking good. But how far down can we go, and what is going to be the floor? At the time of recording, Bitcoin is sitting at about $56,500 almost, just above that. And yesterday it did get as low as about $53,500. As I was saying, if Bitcoin broke down below that 200-day moving average, it wasn't going to be looking good. And now, since we've made this lower high and this lower low, and we're below the 200-day moving average, technically we are in a bear trend. That means that the trend is your friend until the end, and it's probably going to continue to the downside here. If you look here, you can see that the next level of significant support underneath us is down here around $48,000. And even though we did bounce off of about $53,000, if we come down and fill that wick, making another lower low, then it looks like we might come down into the high 48,000 range. I've been talking a lot in previous videos about this electrical cost, and it's at about $47,000, which is really close to that level of support that's underneath us. And it is a definite place that we could come down to before finding some support and hopefully finding some kind of catalyst that can actually put that floor in and send us for the next leg higher. I don't think this bull market is over yet, but like we've seen in the past, sometimes we'll have a little bit of a bear trend or a miniature bear market in the middle of a bull market. And then whenever we see some kind of catalyst, most of the gains actually come in just a matter of a couple of months. I think that's probably what we're going to be seeing here again. But if you go down the list and look, some of these crypto projects don't even look like they've entered a bull market yet. Yeah, Ethereum seems like it's made some pretty good gains, but it still hasn't made an all-time high yet. Dogecoin is pretty close down to almost the bottom of where it was in the bear market. It got down to about 5 cents, and it is double that right now, but it hasn't come anywhere close to even making like half of the gains that it saw in the last bull market. And as you can see in the last one, it didn't start running until really late, and it made most of its gains in just a couple of months as well. Going down the list, it starts to look even worse, with Avalanche not even looking like it's really entered a significantly bullish phase of this bull market. ADA's almost down all the way to the low of the bear market. And then just look at some of these. To me, it looks like the altcoin season hasn't even began, obviously. Most of these things still look like they're in a bear market. And until Bitcoin reaches price discovery, usually we don't see these altcoins really running. So I don't think that the real parabolic phase of this bull market has even started yet. And so if that's the case, I really don't think it's over. We've still got a long way to go, and it is pretty common for us to see some significant sell offs, even for Bitcoin, right before it starts to go parabolic. And since at the time of recording, Bitcoin is only down about 23%, we could still have some more downward pressure to go because somewhere between like 20 and 30% is average for one of these retracements. But whenever we do get to the bottom of this thing, it might actually just be a quick wick, and it's going to be really hard to buy back in if you're chasing candles to the upside. The main reason why we're seeing this sell-off is because people are just pricing in the repayments that are going to be coming from Mt. Gox. According to CNBC, over $170 billion has been wiped off of cryptocurrencies as market tanks on Mt. Gox Bitcoin payout fears. It says cryptocurrencies plunged Friday as investors focused on the payout of nearly $9 billion to users of collapsed Bitcoin exchange Mt. Gox. Bitcoin's price was last lowered by nearly 3% to $56,682, according to Coinmetrics. Earlier in the day, the world's biggest cryptocurrency had slumped to as low as $53,500, marking its first time trading below $55,000 since February 27th. On Friday, the trustee of the Mt. Gox bankruptcy estate said in a statement that it began making repayments in Bitcoin and Bitcoin Cash to some of its creditors through a number of designated crypto exchanges. Mt. Gox's trustee didn't specify how much money had been transferred to these exchanges, but he noted that the remaining funds would be returned to creditors once a series of conditions is met, including confirming the validity of registered accounts and completing discussions between the trustee and designated crypto exchanges. Mt. Gox is preparing the distribution of around $9 billion worth of crypto to users. As I've been saying in a lot of my previous videos, this is going to be some significant selling pressure that's going to be really hard to overcome. But luckily, it looks like we're starting to get it priced in, and maybe whenever we start to see people actually have their cryptocurrency return, it's not going to be $9 billion worth that's going back to them, especially since we're down more than 20% since they figured this number out. So now we're probably down around $7 billion that's going to be going back to users. But according to this article on the block, the Mt. Gox creditors may have to wait for up to 3 months to receive their Bitcoin. It says it depends on which crypto exchange they made the claims with, according to a trustee document, and the trustee had previously detailed that the timeline for payouts to become visible to creditors' accounts may vary depending on exchanges. Kraken is given up to 90 days to process payouts, while Bitstamp may take up to 60 days. BitGo will have payouts visible within 20 days. SBI, VC Trade, and Citibank will both complete payouts within 14 days. So I don't know if Mt. Gox is going to be sending it to these exchanges all in one lump sum, but they might actually stagger the payouts to the exchanges, and then they may be staggered even more due to the processing times on individual exchanges themselves. This means that maybe we're not going to be seeing all 7 or 9 or whatever billion dollars worth of Bitcoin and Bitcoin Cash all being dumped onto the market at the same time. It might take 3 months or even longer for it to all go into people's accounts. And then after it goes into their accounts, people who haven't been paying attention to Bitcoin since maybe they lost their money back in 2014 are probably not even going to realize that they have all that money for some time after that. And even though all of this money is getting put back into people's accounts, that doesn't mean that they're going to be selling it all either. Maybe some people still believe in cryptocurrency and they know that this bull market isn't quite over yet. So maybe they're going to wait until the top of the market to sell, like I probably would if it was me. But all of this is just speculation and it all just remains to be seen. Either way, I think that there is at least a few $billion worth of selling pressure that we're going to have to contend with over the next few months. But as I said a while ago, it looks like the market is trying to get that priced in right now, so maybe the floor is going to be coming up quicker than anybody really expects. Additionally, on top of these Mt. Gox repayments, we also had the U.S. government transferring more than $240 million worth of seized Bitcoin to Coinbase, but that really just pales in comparison to several $billion worth, so I don't think this is going to be enough selling pressure to really matter. Also, Justin Sun has just offered to buy Germany's $2.3 billion worth of Bitcoin to try to help stabilize the market. But still, yet again, I don't think that this is going to be as significant as the Mt. Gox sell-off. So even if Justin Sun actually does buy all of Germany's Bitcoin, I don't know if it's going to be enough to keep us from going down a little bit further. Really, we're going to be waiting for some kind of catalyst to actually signal that we have seen the floor and that Bitcoin is ready to make some higher highs. A couple of catalysts that we could look forward to, like according to this article on Cointelegraph, is that we can look to catalysts such as the Federal Reserve cutting interest rates in September with the potential for another cut in December to lift prices and inject liquidity back into the system, which is going to push hard assets like Bitcoin straight up into the right. Also, on top of that, the full acceptance of the Ethereum ETF from the SEC with a July launch date would be a big boost for the crypto market. And between that and some of these other Bitcoin ETFs seeing the low prices and maybe starting to add to their holdings as well, maybe we could start to see the buying pressure ramping back up. And with us being in an election year and the government having to try to buy some votes, I'd be kind of surprised if this lull does continue all the way until the end of the year. And I think maybe by the end of the summer, we're going to find a floor, and this will probably be the last really significant dip before we start ripping. So in the meantime, I would say we are definitely in a downtrend and maybe even a miniature bear market, but it's not going to last forever, and I don't think this is the actual bear market. It's just the dip before the rip, and as they say, it always gets dumpiest before it gets pumpiest. So let me know what you guys think in the comments. How much further down can we actually go, and when are we going to start making new all-time highs again? Either way, thank you guys so much for watching, and don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button if I brought you value. But most importantly, don't forget to do only good every day, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.